Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
The Shark is back. Welcome to Pep Talk, your get up and go fix. I'm Sharkie Zartman, and it's almost time for back to school. I have over 300 students signed up for my classes, so I've got to get fired up. I'm so excited today to have an instructor, also Dara Feldman, who is an award-winning educator and community leader and has been working with families, schools, and organizations around the world teaching the 5 strategies of the Virtues Project. And so I'm excited to get to talk to her about that today. We also have Dr. Griggs, an author, management consultant, and professional mediator. His current book, How to Save the World and Be at Home in Time for Dinner, is due out this October. But first up is Dara Feldman. Now, she was Disney's 2005 Outstanding Elementary Teacher of the Year, an Apple Distinguished Educator, consultant to the Character Education Partnership, and one of 10 educators featured in the book One-on-One with America's Most Inspiring Teachers. I don't think I'm in there, Dara. But welcome to the show.
You inspire me, Sharkie, absolutely.
I'm so excited. Now, what grades have you taught?
I started teaching 4th grade, and I worked my way down to kindergarten, which for me was working my way up. I've also coached high school and taught in college higher ed.
Now, what's your favorite level to teach?
I really loved kindergarten because they were so open. But now that I've been coaching teachers, and I'm in that point in my career where I'm one of the veterans and the old ladies, I love working with young teachers.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, young teachers need help these days. Education is really changing, and the students, are in some ways getting a little bit more challenging. So good for you.
Thanks.
Now, I heard about this Virtues Project when we talked in New York City. So please tell us what it is and how it got started.
Absolutely. The Virtues Project is just 5 strategies for bringing out the best in ourselves and others. And it was founded about 25 years ago when the founders, who are a husband and wife team of therapists, and the wife's younger brother, who was a Disney Imagineer, were talking about how tragic it is that kids are killing each other. So through a Harvard study, they found that the number one reason that youth ages 14 to 24 gave for randomly committing acts of murder was boredom. And it's not that, oh my goodness, I have nothing to do on a summer's day, but it was that lack of meaning and purpose. So they realized that it was a spiritual issue, and they researched all of the cultures, oral traditions, and sacred texts of the world. And what they found that was common to all of humanity were the virtues. So they thought, how can we awaken them in our kids? Because we're all born with these qualities of character and potential. And they came up with 5 strategies: speaking the language, recognizing teachable moments, setting clear boundaries based on restorative justice, honoring the spirit, and the companioning process. They self-published a family guide, and in less than 2 months, the family guide was in over 20 countries, word of mouth. Now the project is in over 100 countries. It's in schools, businesses, families, communities, prisons. The entire island of Fiji has embraced it, and it's really helped with the equality of men and women there. It's endorsed by the Dalai Lama, and it was honored by the United Nations, and my passion and commitment is to get it into all the schools across the United States and beyond, and I'm grateful for your help doing this.
That is awesome. I'll tell you, it's so needed. I think in the schools, a lot of times we're focusing, mostly on the mind, and the spirit, the body kind of just get thrown by the wayside. I mean, I think I told you I teach physical education and fitness, and by the time I get them at the college, they're so unfit, they're depressed, and they're just trying to get through these classes, taking all these, required classes. But we really are missing two parts of it, and the virtues and how to take care of their bodies, how to feed themselves, I mean, it's crazy. And so I'm so excited about your project. I mean, you have it in colleges now as well?
Well, we do, and I appreciate your enthusiasm for it. My daughter just graduated from University of Maryland with a degree in education. My son wants to be a sports medicine doctor. He's a sophomore here at Towson, and I'm fortunate enough to be around a lot of young people. And what they're telling me, the college kids and the ones who have just graduated, is they are thirsty, they are parched for somebody guiding them with this character business. And so now my commitment is I'm working with a team of people to jumpstart these into colleges and universities across the nation.
Perfect. So you're working with, you're not necessarily working with the students anymore. You're working with the teachers who teach the students and try to incorporate these virtues, right?
Well, I do both. So in K-12, I primarily work with the educators themselves. I'll go in and I'll model lessons for students, but it's really not something that we do to kids. It's a way of being. It's personal, professional, and organizational development all wrapped up into one. But my work on college campuses is more about working with youth. And when I say youth, I just mean, the young adults who are in the classes. And it's about inspiring the leader within. So you don't have to be a leader of the student government or in some kind of club or sorority or fraternity. We're all individual leaders of ourselves. So it's really about building individual capacity, helping those young people who have that idealism, who are committed to making their mark on the world, know that they have everything in them in potential and that they can balance and call on all of these virtues as transferable skills. It's just making them a little more visible.
Perfect. Now, it's been my observation that a lot of the kids these days really are not learning these things at home. And so, why? Why aren't these kids being taught these basic virtues that you and I learned when we were kids?
I think in part as parents we have this opposite-itis syndrome. And so if we were brought up in a very structured home with a lot of control, we've kind of flipped the other way, and we've given our kids a lot of liberties. And we misunderstood that nurturing self-esteem isn't about just saying, oh, good job, you're fabulous, you're great. The way that we nurture authentic self-esteem is by setting clear boundaries, by speaking a certain language to say, you know what, I want to honor you for your diligence in the way you're completing your homework with care. Please be mindful when you rush in the door and to hang up your jacket to be more orderly. So we can use our language as a way to guide and awaken those character qualities in our kids, but nobody gave us an instruction manual to raise our kids with. And in fact, when Linda, the founder of the Virtues Project, was on Oprah, probably about 15 years ago, Oprah said of the Family Virtues Guide, parents are always saying children don't come with a guidebook. This is one. This helps you get them on the right track for leading a good life. And for those listeners who are like, oh, my goodness, my kids are older, they're grown, I didn't get this instruction manual till my kids were 12 and 15. And I have to tell you that in 1 hour, we did a process over dinner, and it eradicated sibling rivalry forever.
Wow. Now, do you work also with parent groups besides education?
I absolutely do. I love working with parents because they're our first educators.
Right. Do you work with businesses as well?
I work with businesses. Absolutely love working with businesses because, in part, they have to drive education. What businesses are looking for, those 21st century skills, they are now asking us in schools to help develop the capacities of these kids. And not just on the performance side of character, because we've seen what has happened with that, but also the moral side of character. We want the kids who are not just book smart, but are reliable and will show up, that will have that grit and determination and actually work through those hard problems without giving up.
Okay. Now, you gave me a card when we were in New York, The one that you gave me was optimism. And I actually carry it around in my purse with me because it's a really good reminder that we pretty much can choose our attitudes. We can choose to be happy. We can choose to look for the good, or we can choose to just look at all the stuff around us that's negative. So tell us how you guys came up with these cards, how many there are, and how you use them.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so grateful to hear that you're using them. I did a virtues pick right before our call, and I got idealism. I'm like, okay, thank you, just what I needed. So when the project started, we started with the family guide, and there were a set of 52 cards, one virtue for each week for the family guide. And teachers wanted to use the 5 strategies, so we created the educator's guide, and out of that came 52 educator's cards. And I actually created a free iPhone, iPad application for the educator's cards. So I think if you go just educator's cards from the iTunes stores, you can download that for free.
It's
a little small on the iPhone. If you double the size on the iPad, it looks really good. But if you go to my website, virtuesproject.org, you can get the personal reflection cards, which are right on the home page, and there are 100 of those, and those are really, really powerful. If you want the educator's cards, you can click on education. If you want the family cards, click on family. And then even though the family cards have quotes from 7 major world religions, some of the religious communities wanted quotes that just had to do with their sacred texts. So under communities of faith, you can go and see 13 different faith-based communities and the cards that have their quotes. And what's really neat is that the First Nations cards are the ones that are out there the most.
Okay. And now how would you use these in education, the cards?
Excellent question. So first of all, as an educator, I make the commitment to do a pick every single day.
Okay.
And what has happened is not only has it strengthened my vocabulary and given me clarity of what each of these virtues are, it has helped me to rise to the occasion to live these virtues and also to see them in one another. So I really encourage educators, parents, business leaders to do a pick every day. And when you read the card, it's never to beat yourself up to go, don't got it, don't got it, don't got it. It's either an invitation, like, it might be good for us to think about excellence today instead of rushing through our work. Or it's an affirmation saying, yeah, you got it, you're really committed to this excellence. And sometimes it's both. So first point, do a pick every day. In schools, I had my kindergartners pick a card every day. If they could read it out loud, they would. If not, I would read it. And we would talk about who has demonstrated, let's say, the virtue of courtesy. When have you demonstrated it or seen somebody else demonstrate it? Okay, guys, as we go about the business of our work today, when you see somebody being courteous, give them an acknowledgement. Say, I appreciate your courtesy in holding the door open for me. And then at the end of the day, we would debrief and say, who showed courtesy? How did you show it? Who saw somebody show courtesy? And then maybe think, did you have an opportunity where you could have been more courteous and you didn't? We use that as a teachable moment for next time. And then the last way that we can do it is, especially like in a staff meeting, is to do a virtues pick with a partner, to read the card and share whatever comes up for that person. And then the person who's listening just gives a virtue's acknowledgement of a virtue they heard exemplified in the share. It's not a discussion. It's not crosstalk. It's a way to be listened to with receptive silence. And it's really, really powerful.
Wow, I need to get these cards.
I'm going to send you. We'll talk offline and I'll send them to you. But again, they're free and they're online. If people go to virtuesproject.org, they can just do a random pick and the cards come up, or they can order them under resources.
Perfect. Now, I need to ask, since in education, with the term virtues, have you ever gotten any resistance with it being too religious or anything like that?
I'm glad that you brought that up. 6 years ago, when I left my school system, which I've now returned to doing this work 2.5 days in one school, oh my gosh, my face was so bloody by having the door slammed in it because people didn't understand the difference between virtues and values. They thought virtues had to do with a certain religion.
Right.
They thought it had to do with a certain author out there. They thought it had to do with a political party, and it's not. The definition of virtues is that they are universal positive qualities of character, and values can be culture or group specific. And so now I think that there's been such an absence of these positive qualities of character that people now have seen, oh, yeah, they're missing, and people are starting to embrace it, and it's not that, what I'd say, quote-unquote, four-letter word anymore.
Okay, great. Now, you say that this program can actually turn bullies into leaders. How does that work?
Absolutely. Well, I believe that violence is a symptom, and that meaninglessness is really the disease. I already shared with you about the Harvard study. And, when we can call somebody by their name, of their virtues, when we can recognize it in our kids, it lets them know that they have that virtue in them. And so a core virtue for teenagers is idealism. They have a need to do something, make their mark on the world, and to be somebody. And if we don't give them something positive, then they're going to take something negative. And we've seen a lot of that with the shooting. There are skills and attitudes that touch our students' idealism, and they can literally transform the way they use their power. So when we take power plus control, that equals violence. But the ways that we can turn somebody into a leader is to show them their power plus responsibility and compassion. And when we can hold the mirror up to them and say, I see your compassion and I see your leadership, give them that opportunity to be responsible, they rise to the occasion. We need to see beneath the ugly behavior to what's beautiful inside and help nurture it and bring it out.
I really think this program needs to be required in every school in the country. I mean, are you doing anything to try to get it, infused?
Right, that's why I'm doing this publicity thing. For me, I'm just a classroom teacher, and I don't mean that in a just. That's who I am. That's what I've loved, and it's really taken me out of my comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
To step out there and say, hello, world, we really need this.
Yeah, we do.
6 years ago because we were so focused on academic rigor. And when I found out about the Virtues Project, I was like, okay, I get it. This is why the Disney honor. This is why I can do technology to get this out there. So I invite educators to join me. It is a revolution, and I don't mean in the war. I mean in the sense of making that positive impact, losing the amnesia, remembering why we went into education to begin with. And because it's not an add-on curriculum, it's just 5 strategies, and it's something that we as educators can use outside of the classroom. We can use it with our families. We can teach it to our kids. We can use it when we go to the grocery store. I really think that this is the year, and it's going to catch. And the Templeton Foundation has invited us to submit a $1 million research grant on the effectiveness of the Virtues Project. And I really trust that that's going to be funded. So I know that in some schools they want it to be that hard, crunchy data. We have testimonials from over 100 countries of how this project works. And I am happy to share this with anybody. You can Skype me in. You can send me an email. I'll give you whatever I have. But, yes, I agree. My intention – actually, let me back up. 7 years ago, before I knew about the Virtues Project, I set an intention to work with masters in education and spirituality to create a new educational paradigm, one where joy, meaning, purpose, and peace were at the heart, and to leverage the power of technology to do so. Sharkie, before I found out about the Virtues Project, that's exactly what I'm doing. And so my next intention was to get this into at least all public schools, but now I've opened it up to all schools across the U.S. So if that first intention can happen, the second one is coming soon.
That is awesome. Now, okay, I've got to ask a question. What do you like better, teaching or doing this?
I saw teaching. In fact,
okay.
This is why I education to begin with. When I was driving up to New York to go to this personal development seminar, where I was asked to set an intention, and I didn't even know at the time what an intention was. You know, I'm driving up there going, we teach what we need to learn. And I was teaching kindergarten. I'm like, okay, well, I know my ABCs, got that one. I can count to 31, got that one. Self-esteem, oh, yeah, hello. That's why I went into education. And this project not only helps to develop the authentic self-esteem in my students, it's really helped to heal me. Many of us in education went in as wounded warriors because of things that have happened to us in our past, and we didn't want that to happen to others. Well, in this transformation, I've become a wounded healer. And I don't even mean wound as I'm wounded anymore, but I think it's that sacred wound where everything that I had to go through, I'm grateful for, and I would go through the hell and torture, because that's what it felt like to be where I am today, because I'm open to those magic and miracles. And when I see the pain and hurt in my kids and in the teachers and families and businesses I work with, I know that they're right where they are supposed to be, and especially when they're doing the work with the virtues, I know that they're open and they're ready to take that quantum leap forward.
That is so awesome. Dara, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, you know, I want to pick up more on this Virtues Project, and also I understand that you have the 10 Rules of Health. Now, you know I'm a health professor, and I notice they all start with P, and so we'll talk about that when we get back, and also I love your term Type E personality, all right?
Excellent.
And we'll be right back after this.
With a little Shark Sense, you can improve your life. Shark Sense, a new book by Sharkie Zartman, is a book that can teach you survival instincts, that pumps you up to live your life fully regardless of what life dishes out. Shark Sense, a fast read with tested principles right from the shark's survival traits. You can do anything. Tap into your inner shark and get your copy of Shark Sense right now. Available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and at sharksense.org.
I'm William Shatner, and this is Jimmy. Animals like Jimmy are often left behind by people fleeing hurricanes, fires, floods, and earthquakes. These abandoned animals cannot survive on their own. If you must evacuate your home, please never leave an animal behind. If you absolutely cannot take your animal with you, never leave them helplessly chained or caged. Many animals die because they cannot escape fires or rising waters. Animals need your help. Thank you.
Call PETA today, 757-622-PETA.
These shoes are made for walking, jumping, running, and just plain style. Over 32,000 styles. Skechers, an award-winning global leader in lifestyle footwear. And now you can get Skechers without walking, jumping, or running. You can get them by clicking. Scroll down HealthyLife.net's homepage and click. You can check out Skechers, high-quality shoes in styles for men, women, and children. So get in style. Get Skechers today and start walking, running, jumping, and strutting in style.
For more than 20 years, Homeboy Industries has made a difference in the lives of former gang members and at-risk youth in Los Angeles. Their free programs and services have given hope and opportunity to thousands in their signature businesses: Homeboy Bakery, Homegirl Cafe and Catering, Homeboy Silkscreen and Embroidery, and Homeboy Merchandise offers hands-on training in a safe work environment. Donate to Homeboy today and help them continue their important work. To find out more, call 323-526-1254 or visit online at www.homeboy-industries.org. South Bay Saturdays, catch the best of 7, the best of the HealthyLife.net news at 7, 1 p.m. Pacific Time, Saturdays, only on HealthyLife.net radio.
We are back with more Pep Talk. I'm here with Dara Feldman, and she's talking about the Virtues Project. But I'm also very interested in, Dara, in your 10 rules of health that you've developed over the years. Since I'm a health professor, I was looking at them and noticed they all started with P. And so can you share some of them with us?
Well, actually, I have to say that I didn't come up with them.
Okay.
They were actually given to Linda, the founder of the Virtues Project, when she had post-polio. And so she was in her prayer and meditation corner, and she received these 10 rules of health. And out of that, she developed a pace of grace, virtues for a sustainable life. And so, as a teacher, as you know, when I started reading this book, I thought, yeah, right, it'll never happen to me. A pace of grace? There is no pace of grace for an educator. But I have to tell you that I do live this way every day. Sometimes I'm riding the rapids, and that's my pace, but I'm really, really grateful. So would you like me to share the 10 rules of health with you?
Yes.
Okay, so the first one is about purity and cleanliness. And it's about immersing yourself in water daily. You know, taking a shower, taking a bath, drinking plenty glasses of water every day.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
I said perfect.
And then, eating primarily pure water-based foods as well as grains. So lots of fruits and vegetables. And I happen to be a vegetarian, so. The second one is prana, or breath. So we want to exercise moderately every day and breathe in that fresh air as often as we can. Breathe, maybe practice yoga, and I know that's something that you teach. Mm-hmm. I'm not really good at doing that yoga quiet piece, so I do kind of more of a moving meditation and breathing, and that's okay too. The third rule of health is about proper vitamins. So it's either taking supplements that you need or using, homeopathy, or making sure that your food really gives you all the essential nutrients that you need. The fourth one is proactive rest. Okay, I confess maybe I don't do this, but it's about having a routine of rest once or twice every day, stopping before you get tired. And us as educators, maybe it's laying down on the floor, putting our knees up, the backs of our legs up on a chair so it's in a 90-degree angle, and opening our arms up wide, just closing our eyes for 10 minutes. You would not believe how rejuvenating that really is. So proactive rest, stop before you get tired. Number 5 is pace yourself. Set some realistic work hours, respecting your body's inner clock. Choosing tasks really carefully, and as best that you can, keeping your correspondence up to date. Delete what you don't need. Delete, defer, delegate, or do. But don't get so hooked up on, oh my God, I have a million emails. The sixth one is pray every hour. And through that, if you're not a praying person, just stop and take a mindful minute. Or once an hour, be mindful of what you're grateful for. And just see how that really changes your life. Number 7 is pursue peaceful activities. And that's about cutting down television. It really can be depressing, especially a lot of what's on TV right now. Instead, read, write, listen to music, watch the fire. Spend time just being, not doing, or listening to Sharkie's radio show.
Yeah.
Number 8 is play. Spend time every single day doing something that you enjoy, that makes you laugh. And if your answer to playing is going out with a friend for a cup of coffee, then do it. If it's, getting together and reading the comics, do it. Whatever it is that makes your soul joyful. The 9th rule is prioritize. Put your first passion first. It's your most productive activity. So don't do all those little things on your list first. What is it that makes your heart sing the most? How do you want to make your mark on this world? Use your time first to get that done, and then take care of all the other things to do on your to-do list. That's a little bit different than some of the guidance out there that says, do that thing on your list that, you don't want to do first and get it over with. We say put your first passion first. And then the 10th rule is plan a sustainable life. And so what's that going to look like? How can you utilize all other 9 strategies and rules so that you can be joyful, have that meaningful life, and sustain your time, energy, and your passion?
I love these. They're simple to understand, and they're very powerful. Good for you. I'm going to share them with my health students. But you also have what's called a Type E personality. Now, I've seen, we all know Type A, and most of us know Type B. But what's Type E? I haven't heard of that one before.
Yeah, so you probably know a lot of them. The Type E personality is the everything to everybody person. It's that person who puts everybody and everything before themselves. isn't able to say no.
Okay, and are most of these women?
Yeah, most of these are women, and in fact, in some cultures we've been trained that way. But also, if you look in some of the 12-step rooms in Al-Anon for families of alcoholics, you'll find men who are the E-type personalities. You know, we feel like we need to be all things to everybody just so that we can be loved for who we are. And when we practice the 10 rules of health and the 5 strategies of the Virtues Project, we no longer need to be that E person because we are who we are.
You also have some tips on how to get our energy back and reclaim our lives if we're type E, right?
Absolutely.
Please share them. Hello, Dara, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you have another question?
No, I just said, can you share some of the ways that we can get our energy back if we're type E?
Oh, absolutely. So if you practice the 10 rules of health, this is a 4-part series. And so I love to facilitate a Pace of Grace retreat. And it always comes at my busiest time of year. And I'm going, why did I do this to myself? And then while I'm in it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is why. Because it gives me the opportunity to stop. There's really 4 parts, and so the first part is really about purifying our lives. So, maybe there's some relationships that aren't doing us justice, and so maybe we just take time and invest in other relationships that really bring us some peace and joy. Maybe there's some habits that aren't in our best interest. And so it's taking time to replace those habits with something positive.
Okay, Dara, we're just about out of time. I can't believe how fast time goes when I'm talking with you. But please tell us more about your website, and are there any plans for a book?
Absolutely. So my website is virtuesproject.org, and I'm coming out with a book. It's called The Heart of Education, Bringing Joy, Meaning, and Purpose Back to Teaching and Learning. Also on my website under resources, you can go to the Virtues shop and get the book A Pace of Grace, or the Family Educator's Guide, or the Family Guide. And if I can be of service, my email is dara@virtuesproject.org. I'd love to walk this path with you.
And the cards. Don't forget about the cards.
Yeah, the cards. You can order the cards online. Again, virtuesproject.org. Go under resources. You can go online and do free picks, or you can also get them Virtues Reflection cards on the iPad and iPhone.
Perfect.
And also the Educator's cards.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dara, and best of luck to you. And I'm so excited that you're doing this. Wonderful.
Wishing you a joyful new school year to you, Sharkie, and everybody out there.
Okay, thank you. We'll be back right after this.
With a little shark sense, you can improve your life. Shark Sense, a new book by Sharkie Zartman, is a book that can teach you survival instincts. It pumps you up to live your life fully regardless of what life dishes out. Shark Sense, a fast read with tested principles right from the shark survival traits. You can do anything. Tap into your inner shark and get your copy of Shark Sense right now. Available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and at sharksense.org. South Bay business owners, here's the summer sizzle. Get a full digital presence for your local business with banners, social media mentions, email blasts, coupons, radio ads, and radio interviews with HealthyLife.net's Summer Sizzle ad special. 75% less than newspaper ads. Our Summer Sizzle is economical for your budget. And you'll reach 80,000 South Bay listeners a week for 13 weeks on the Internet, in cars, on all smartphones, in retail stores. In fact, you'll be on 58 different distribution channels. Plus, your ads have shelf life. They're able to be listened to or downloaded on our archive pages within our programs for 3 months at no additional cost. Try the Summer Sizzles at HealthyLife.net, and your business can sizzle too. Call 800-555-5453 and just say Summer Sizzle, and we'll give you all the information. That's 800-555-5453. Summer Sizzle.
Attention Kmart shoppers. Now you get Kmart on HealthyLife.net. Kmart carries over 70,000 items like Martha Stewart's Everyday Products, Apparel by Jacqueline Smith, Joe Boxer, Route 66, appliances, jewelry, and more. Everything you need. Plus, you'll get exciting weekly promotions. Go to HealthyLife.net's homepage and click on Kmart, and then you're there. And you even avoided the crowds.
I love food, and I love to eat. The cooking and cleaning part, not so much. And then I found a link to the chef's catalog on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page, and I was happy to find all sorts of amazing recipes and tips on cooking, in addition to great chef-quality kitchen equipment and savings as well. Now I look forward to my time in the kitchen thanks to chef's catalog on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
Welcome back to Pep Talk. I'm Sharkie Zartman, and now I am here with Dr. Thomas Sheldon Griggs, a clinical psychologist, management consultant, professional mediator, inventor of the one-sentence game, and the author of an upcoming book, How to Save the World and Be Home in Time for Dinner. So welcome, Thomas.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Well, great. Now, your book sounds really interesting. So what's it about?
Well, I have worked with a lot of people who are passionate about making the world a better place. And they're up to very, very big games, huge challenges, like putting healthy food in every cafeteria, in lunchrooms all across the United States. And to do something like that, they have to go from the farmers all the way to the 13-year-olds who are eating the food and their parents and the teachers and the regulators. Those are huge, huge challenges. And I am passionate about sustaining those people who are up to those really big games. I want them to be able to make it home in time for dinner and have a good life with their families.
Well, good.
And keep doing what they're doing. That's my thing.
Well, good. Well, you have another way of saying this. You say that you save the people who save the whales. And so I was going to say, so why do those people need saving? I think you answered the question. And
well, yeah, I met a lot of people that are sacrificing an awful lot, and I'm up to martyrdom.
Yes, well, the martyrdom, unfortunately, is almost epidemic, but there's people like you to help us. Now, your book, I'm taking a look at the description. You say that's based on actual events and real not-for-profit organizations, but the book follows the adventures of 6 superheroes, and so is this kind of a combination of fiction and fact?
That's exactly right. I'm protecting the names of the innocent here.
Okay.
All of this is based, the stories in the book are fables or stories that are based on things that actually happened and problems that we actually faced and actually solved, but I don't want to out the people that were involved. So it's easier to do it as a fable.
Okay, so you're keeping it a secret. That's okay. We're just going to have to wait. Now, how did you get involved in working with organizational challenges?
Well, if you ask me at the personal level, I think it goes all the way back to the family I came out of, which had its more than its fair share of trouble. And I think I was wired to try to make peace, like a lot of folks are. But I had a lot of training in group psychotherapy and family therapy and conflict resolution and high drama threats of violence in corporations. So I worked on locked psychiatric units, and I began to see that there was a thread that ran all through those different settings, whether it was a nonprofit or whether it was a for-profit company or a school or university. The groups and the people were facing challenges that I saw I had the answer to, and I realized I just couldn't sit by and not share what I knew.
Okay, so you worked with schools then, too?
Oh, yeah, I've worked with a lot of schools.
Okay. I noticed, were you a college professor at one time?
I have taught as an adjunct professor at several places, Duke University and University of Richmond.
Okay.
And I've consulted to quite a few other
All right.
universities, independent schools.
So you basically know what the needs are, as a professor in terms of management. So that's really good. So what all did you learn in those years of working in business and industry that is helping you help people?
Well, the one thing, my career culminated in providing employee assistance programs for major U.S. corporations. And our job was to take care of the employees and their family members, but also protect the interests of the companies. And what I became aware of was there was no way to separate out the needs of the individual from the family, from the work group, because we were talking to supervisors, from the company, and also from the community. So we developed ways of teaching both family members and supervisors and employers how to deal with unusually difficult situations in a language that worked for everybody, even for the children and the families that were involved in some of the situations.
Oh, that's perfect. Now, what are some of the challenges that you've actually faced in the workplace?
Ooh, that's a long list.
That's a long list.
That's a very, very long list.
Just give me one or two of your special ones.
Sure. Well, we would typically pick up where HR, personnel, medical didn't really know what to do, didn't have experience. So I got a call one day from somebody that says, we have a truck driver. He drives an 18-wheeler. He's in and out of the loading dock every day. Everybody knows him. He just announced that he's changed his name to Tabitha, and he wants to use the women's restroom. And everybody in the work has ground to a halt. Everybody is freaking out.
This is a truck driver?
Please help.
Truck driver, right?
Truck driver, yeah.
Okay.
Big guy.
Okay. Whoa.
Wasn't a dainty little fellow.
Whoa. Okay. So what happened?
Well, the deal there is that one of the major tools in the arsenal of conflict resolution is understanding cultural differences. So we help people understand that there were a whole group of people like this guy who actually were born into the wrong body, and sooner or later they figure that out, and they want to go through the sex change operation and all that entails, and that it's a large group of people, and she's not alone in this.
Mm-hmm.
And working with them to understand how to deal with differences and group differences and how to set up policies and procedures that actually handled situations like that where you didn't have just one policy, you had two. And they cooperated with each other, the two policies. So some of the work was getting people to effectively get their questions answered.
Okay.
And some of it was about reassuring people that, his sex change operation wasn't contagious.
Okay. Well, that's a great story. But we're going to take a short break, Thomas. And when we come back, I want to ask you a question about why you call yourself the Geek Whisperer, okay?
Sure, that'd be
All fun. Right. We'll be back after this.
With a little Shark Sense, you can improve your life. Shark Sense, a new book by Sharkie Zartman, is a book that can teach you survival instincts, that pumps you up to live your life fully regardless of what life dishes out. Shark Sense, a fast read with tested principles right from the shark survival traits. You can do anything. Tap into your inner shark and get your copy of Shark Sense right now. Available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and at sharksense.org.
One of the best things about the technology available today is being able to listen to HealthyLife.net on the go or while I'm at work. Typically, headphones or earphones are required, and let's face it, sometimes they break or get worn out or lost. To find my latest solution to this, I found the Earphone Solutions website while browsing the HealthyLife.net advertiser page. There are plenty of options from basic and expensive on-the-go earphones to studio-quality headphones for when I really have time to enjoy everything from rock to Bach. Earphone Solutions on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now, this same technology is available to you. They have the best earthcasting coders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. earthchannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things, like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget, web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now, so come to earthchannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call earthchannel.com at 800-849-8978. That's 800-849-8978.
If you like to spend your television viewing time learning about some of the things that you may have missed in history class, or if history was your favorite subject, then you should check out the link to the History Channel on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page. Order DVD sets by series or by subject matter right from our homepage while you still enjoy your favorite HealthyLife.net show.
You're listening to HealthyLife.net. Millions of listeners know the secret. Now you do too. Positive talk 24 hours a day, every day.
We're back with more Pep Talk. I'm here with Dr. Thomas Sheldon Griggs. And when I met you in New York, Thomas, you have some information where you say that you are the geek whisperer. And so why do people call you the geek whisperer?
Well, it's because I know how to talk to glow-in-the-dark experts and make them behave, make them answer the questions that you actually ask so you understand what they're talking about.
Ah, that's interesting. Now, do you consider yourself to be a geek, or that you can just communicate with them?
Well, what I discovered in all this was I originally did not think that I was. I thought that the guy in the Apple store that I was going to get training on a video program was the geek. But then I realized that when I was trying to help my kids with their homework, I was the geek. So it turns out we're all geeks at something.
Yeah.
And it's when we know a whole lot about something and we know a lot more about something than the person we're talking to, that's when we become the geek.
All right. Okay, I got it. That's a good definition of a geek. That's different from what I've heard. So the question is it really possible to train a scientist or a geek to work with people?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely it is. The example of the Apple store that's a true story. I went in there and I asked him a question, and about 7 minutes later, he was still talking, and I stopped him, and I said, hey, I want to play a game. I want to play a game with you. It's a one-sentence question game. So in that encounter, I asked him one question at a time, and he was only allowed to answer one sentence at a time. He couldn't answer any more. So I stayed completely in charge of the learning in that situation. When I'm working with a scientist, like an MD, PhD, who is trying to make it in the business world and has no business savvy, that's only one of the techniques that we teach. We also teach emotional competence, about how to recognize an emotion, what to do with it when you find it, how to give people positive strokes and appreciations, how to dress, all kinds of things. So, the way you work with scientists and engineers who are new to the world of other people is a fairly substantial set of skills we teach.
Okay, well, this one-sentence game, do you play it with everybody or just the people you're consulting?
Well, really everybody. I mean, that goes back to the thing that a lot of this was born in working with families.
Okay.
And we've used it. The Geek Whisperer thing works one-on-one, and it works in small groups. And the emotional literacy, emotional competence tools work for me personally. They work between you and me, and they work in groups.
Okay. Now, you work with a lot of people that work with the challenges at work, and you say that you can get people to love meetings. Now, next week, on Thursday, I have to attend meetings from 8:30 in the morning to 5, like 6 different meetings. And by the end of the day, I am so tired and I want to tear my hair out. So, obviously, they're not fun. So, how can I learn to love the meetings that, for that one day, I'm struggling through? Tell me how to love them.
Okay, the first thing there is whether or not you are the one running the meeting.
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
You're in prison.
Yes.
Okay, so it's how can you have fun being in prison?
That's right.
Okay.
I'm going to share this with my colleagues, okay?
All right, well, we have a saying, you can be blocked at one level, but you can never be blocked at all 5 levels.
Okay.
So at the institutional level, you are not the moderator. You're not designing the program. And at a group level, you're not facilitating the meeting. But at a personal and interpersonal level, from that perspective, you still have power. You can create things with your friends, and you can do things in your own mind. So one option that we almost always teach is to turn situations into learning experiences, learning environments. Become a scientist of meetings. And study this meeting that you're in with a clipboard, and make note of everything that works about that meeting.
Okay.
All the good stuff. We do a split-page analysis, the good things on the left and the options on the right.
Okay.
When you see something about the meeting that doesn't work for you, rather than just feel bored or annoyed, on the right side of your page, next to a little O, write down what the option is that you would use if you were running that meeting.
Hey, I like this technique, Thomas. This is good.
Well, it's got a lot of advantages. One is it keeps you busy, gives you something to do, and you learn something. Afterwards, then, you can do 2 things with your split-page stroke option sheet that you just created. You can share it with the meeting organizers with their permission, if they're open to it, to coach them about how to do better meetings next time.
Okay.
If they're open to it, and if they're not, you have a nice way of coaching yourself and your friends when you are in charge of meetings.
Okay. All right. I love this. This will be fun. And so, I'm going to hand out pads with people around me and tell them what to do. Okay. So.
Yeah, and then you could have a conversation and share what you learned. That would be very cool.
Yeah. Now, please tell us about your first YouTube story that led to a call from the producers of The Biggest Loser.
Oh, that was just the craziest thing in the world.
Well, tell us. It's okay.
I'm from North Carolina, and I had a job facilitating a conference that lasted a week in Southern California. And we worked through all kinds of conflicts, a lot of which are in the book. But I posted my first YouTube video announcing an advanced conflict resolution training while I was out there at the conference down just above San Diego. And within a week, I got a call from the producers of The Biggest Loser saying they wanted me to host a reality television show on family reconciliation. And I thought they heard about the work I did at the conference. And they said, no, we don't know what you're talking about. We just Googled conflict resolution, and your name came up, and we saw your video, and we know you can host our show.
Wow.
I said, you all don't even know me. They said, no, this is what we do for a living.
That's cool. Are you going to do it?
No, that was back in 2009. I told them that I hadn't owned a television for 10 years, and if I had one, I sure wouldn't be watching reality shows.
Yeah.
And if I were watching reality shows, I would never do one on family reconciliation because the causes of family estrangement are so severe that once you take the cork out of that bottle, what happens?
Right.
So I talked them out of it, and then they decided they wanted to do a show based on the work I do.
Oh, okay.
So we talked about contracts for a number of months, and the contract they sent me was ridiculous. And by the time I finally sent one back to them, they had been purchased by another company, reorganized, and put the project on the shelf. So it never happened.
Well, just keep your options keep your options open. Now, Thomas, we're just about out of time, so please tell us about your website, where and when we can get your book.
Well, if you go to drthomasgriggs.com. That's drthomasgriggs.com. There's a place there where you can log in and let me know that you're interested. Leave an email address, and then when the book comes out in October, I will make sure you're notified about it.
Perfect. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, and best of luck to you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Sharkie.
Okay, we'll be back right after this to wrap it up.
With a little Shark sense, you can improve your life. Shark Sense, a new book by Sharkie Zartman, is a book that can teach you survival instincts. It pumps you up to live your life fully regardless of what life dishes out. Shark Sense, a fast read with tested principles right from the shark survival traits. You can do anything. Tap into your inner shark and get your copy of Shark Sense right now. Available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and at sharksense.org.
With so many wonderful authors appearing as guests on HealthyLife.net, you can easily support their work by browsing the Barnes & Noble link on our advertiser page. Browse for books, or even an ebook, DVDs, movies, music, games, gift cards, and more. Find the Barnes & Noble link on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page.
South Bay business owners, here's the summer sizzle. Get a full digital presence for your local business with banners, social media mentions, email blasts, coupons, radio ads, and radio interviews with HealthyLife.net's Summer Sizzle ad special. 75% less than newspaper ads, our Summer Sizzle is economical for your budget. And you'll reach 80,000 South Bay listeners a week for 13 weeks on the Internet, in cars, on all smartphones, in retail stores. In fact, you'll be on 58 different distribution channels. Plus, your ads have shelf life. They're able to be listened to or downloaded on our archive pages within our programs for 3 months at no additional cost. Try the Summer Sizzles at HealthyLife.net, and your business can sizzle too. Call 800-555-5453 and just say Summer Sizzle, and we'll give you all the information. That's 800-555-5453. Summer Sizzle.
Pep it up with positive energy power right here on HealthyLife.net.
Hey, wow, we are out of time. Thanks for being with us today, and also a big thanks to our guests, Dara Feldman and Dr. Thomas Sheldon Griggs. Now I'm ready to start the new school year and greet the fall season, and I hope you are too. Until next time, I'm Sharkie Zartman, and here's to your inner shark.